Global controls will have to be imposed, and a world governing body will be created to enforce them. Crises precipitate change.
Secretly plotting your demise. I want to devise a virus.
Hello everyone, Darko 2012 here with Global Government News, and I thought I'd cover this article. There's just so much news to cover today, but I kind of got a kick out of this when I seen the picture of it, because I thought it was a freaking joke or something. But no, it's very real, and well, it doesn't exist yet, but in the minds of our masters, it will soon. And yes, they want their own little castle with a freaking moat with little jumping crocodiles. You know, like a castle in the medieval times where they have like the water river going around it, and they have a drawbridge and all kinds of nasty cesspool of water and all that to keep them safe from all the people that they're screwing over, right? That's what it's really for. It's to keep the common man away from the man who's calling all the shots, the people that are calling all the shots in the castle. So I'm sure it's for other reasons as well, you know, regular, typical security. But the point is that these people are the fucking terrorists, you know. They do work with the, quote, terrorists, right? And so, yeah, they're going to protect themselves from the people. And that's how it goes. But let's just read a little bit about this, not the whole thing, because like I said, there's other things that I want to cover today. It says Jim Geraghty, writing for the neocon House organ on the internet, the National Review Online supports the plan to build a medieval U.S. embassy complete with a moat in London. Quote, in many countries, if you work in the U.S. Embassy or in a U.S. Embassy, someday someone is going to try to blow you up in your workplace, writes Geraghty. I wonder why that is. If you asked me to list the 20 most likely terror targets in the next decade, our embassy in London would probably make the list. Embassies and consulates in dangerous parts of the world and in cities with Islamist al-Qaeda presence would dominate these top 20. He was quoted as saying, Geraghty mentions Londonistan, the term neocons use to describe the Muslim presence in London. He writes about the, quote, high number of Muslims and those who support jihadism in the UK, and how Muslims pulled off the 7/7 attacks. Geraghtys follows the standard Muslim versus the civilized world talking points we now expect from neocons. If there is an attack on the billion-dollar embassy, it is safe to say British intelligence will have something to do with it. In other words, whatever attack is carried out on their old embassy will be the actual British intelligence themselves, so that they can get one of these big honking castles with floating, with a drawbridge and jumping crocodiles, right? All in the name of preventing future terrorist attacks. And then maybe the next one they'll fly a plane into it or something, you know, and then so they can get like a bigger building with you know, big wrought iron fences and like their own private army or something. For this, it says for many this is probably an outrageous comment. However, after looking at the facts, instead of simplistic fantasies spun by warmongering neocons, including no shortage of Muslim haters, we discovered that the British government has supported terrorism not merely in far-flung backwaters, but on their own soil. Consider, it is said that the Finsbury Park Mosque is the epicenter of radical jihadist ideology in London. Its former imam, Abu Hamaz al-Mazri, now locked away in a British prison, is said to have supported al-Qaeda, Osama bin Laden, the actions of the armed Islamic group in Algeria, killing of the kafir, non-believer, for any reasons you can say it is okay, even if there is no reason for it, al-Mazri preached in one of his sermons. You think such hatred would get al-Mazri booted out of the country, But the Brits did not deport the incendiary Ayman because he was a valuable asset for MI5, the British intelligence service. The cozy relationship continued for several years, and there was at least 7 meetings between Abu Hamza, sorry if I'm not pronouncing this stuff right, and MI5 between 1997 and 2000. According to authors Daniel O'Neill and Sean McGregory, the relationship was, quote, respectful, polite, and often cooperative. It goes on to say Hamza told his aides that he was, quote, beyond the reach of British law and acted as if Finsbury Park had divorced itself from Britain and was operating in an independent Muslim state. He offered various terrorist suspects asylum there, according to O'Neill and McGregory. The Suicide Factory, Abu Hamza, and Finsbury Park Mosque. And that was from Harper Perennial, 2006. Goes on to say, not that the Brits trusted Hamza. Rita Hussain, who also worked for British intelligence, was assigned to keep tabs on the Fury cleric. He told his handlers that al-Mazrah considered the mosque to be, quote, an al-Qaeda guest house in London. O'Neill and McGrory described the mosque as a, quote, safe haven for a spot of leave before they returned to the jihad front line and undertook terror operations. And here's the 2 killer terrorists right here. And it says, Hussain would later say MI5 and the Metropolitan Police's special branch were indifferent to al-Qaeda terrorist attacks. Quote, these guys I was risking my life for. They hadn't arrested anybody. They didn't do a proper job. All the work I had done, all the risk I took, didn't seem to amount to anything. All this killing was taking place abroad, but the British didn't give a shit that the killers were here in London. Spoken like a true patsy. In 2001, al-Mazrah told his supporters to pledge bayat, an oath of loyalty to Osama bin Laden. MI5 and the Metropolitan Police's special branch took no action. It is said British intelligence and police were not concerned with al-Mazrah so long as no terrorism acts were committed on British soil. And yet the supposed 7/7 bombing mastermind Harun Rashid Aswat was one of al-Mazrah's top aides and the terrorist said to be responsible for the deadly attack attended sermons at the Finsbury Park Mosque. It is said that Aswat was also a British agent. And it says in 2005, during Fox News Channel's Dayside program, former Justice Department prosecutor and terror expert John Loftus revealed that Aswat was an MI6 operative. Quote, this is the guy, the 7/7 mastermind, Aswat. And what's really embarrassing is that the entire British police are out chasing him, and one wing of the British government, MI6, or the British Secret Service, has been hiding him. And this has been a real source of contention between the CIA and the Justice Department and Britain, said Loftus. So it says Mohammed Sadiq Khan began attending the Finsbury Park Mosque in 2002. Noted terror expert Charles Shoebridge told the BBC in 2006 that Khan was working for British intelligence agency MI5 as an informant at the time of the attacks. So there you go, everybody. Not really too much left, but I'm going to run out of time here. I think you get the gist of it. But like I said, you never know. Hey, maybe they'll fly a building or they'll carry out the intelligence agencies will carry out attacks so they can get their nice little fancy moat and drawbridge with jumping crocodiles. So we'll see, right? Thank you.